Hey everybody, Chris with Night of Living Card Games here, back again to continue Earthborne Rangers. My first playthrough campaign sees us coming up to day 10. We've got a couple missions in play. So let's take a look here. Also, I do apologize, I will probably sound a little stuffy and congested in this. Our son got myself and his mother a lovely cold for Christmas, so that was very thoughtful of him. So I'll be fighting through that. I'll try to keep the coughs or sniffles or anything minimized, but it is what it is. So we're starting up day 10 here. So get on my campaign tracker, cross off day 10. We've got no campaign records to read. And we are in a downpour again. So I do have the downpour weather up. Our current missions are Journey to Biological Outpost and Invasion Stage 1. So Invasion Stage 1 is adding some of these Reclaimer Seekers into path decks, depending on how many days it has been since the mission was given to us. Since we got it on day 9, and it is day 10, it is 1 day, so only if we go into the Ruins path do we shuffle them in. Right, and then for the other, so we went down to Tumbledown, and we were able to, with the help of Spirit Speaker Now, able to communicate with the mysterious Verdessian plant creature, and found out that they think there is something that is threatening their lives at Spire, and they have effectively raised an army of biomelds to go destroy Spire to save themselves. So we have to get all the way up to the biological outpost, which is up here. So, the last day, we got out to Watcher's Rock and we camped ourselves. So that is where we're going to be starting ourselves today. Taking a look at Watcher's Rock, it is a location, mountain, and a trail. Presence value of 2, progress threshold of 4 per ranger. Has a test on it, awareness plus knowledge 3, to watch the approaching threats, to shuffle each predator in play into the path deck. Right, and now we're going to go through the arrival setup here. So we read entry 38. From Watcher's Rock, you can see for dozens, maybe even hundreds of kilometers across the ocean of green that fills the lands south of the valley. From this vantage point, the inhabitants of Tumbledown stand watch over the Verdessa. Today, like most days, all is quiet. Lead Ranger draws 1 path card. All right, let me get my path deck shuffle here. This is not a ruin location, so I did not add the reclaimers into the deck. And we are drawing an agitated meadowlark. Comes in near us, 1 presence, 1 harm threshold, 3 progress threshold, and spirit plus connect test to listen to the meadowlark song of warning to move your ranger token to it, and response: before a being moves or enters play within reach, you may remove your ranger token from this prey to exhaust that being. All right. Let us give my deck a shuffle here. Draw up to 6 cards. All right, we got a Camo Weave Cloak, Vaulting Rod, a Boundary Sensor, Eagle Eye, Healing Touch, and Bold. Okay. Oof. None of my companions. That's a shame. All right, I like the Boundary Sensor. Keep that. The Camo Weave Cloak is really nice. I'm going to keep it, and then I'm going to mulligan the rest. So 4 more. Sketchbook, HydroLens goggles, Insightful, and Walk With Me. So none of my companions starting out this game. Alright, well, it is what it is. Hopefully I will find them soon. Alright, so now, start of the round, I have to draw a path card. Yep. So then we draw Pouncing Aatrox. Comes in along the way, or within reach, sorry. Presence value of 2, harm threshold of 4, progress threshold of 6, and it is ambush, so I immediately fatigue 2. That's not nice. And we've got some challenge effects. Oof. This is not a great start. All right, so we are going to spend 1 to get our boundary sensor in. Comes in with 4 sensors. Let's see here. Yeah, I think I'm gonna spend 1 awareness to put my sketchbook out. Alright, I am now going to do... I'm going to do this test. Let's try it. We're going to try to sketch the agitated meadowlark. So it's awareness plus knowledge. I am not going to commit any cards. So I'm only... Oh, I've got a committed energy. So 1 versus their presence value of 1. So 1 versus 1. 0. So I succeed with one effort. So I get to add 1 sketch. Alright, blue challenge effect. Nothing here, nothing here, nothing on my missions, nothing here. If there's an active predator, exhaust it, and then add harm to this being equal to this predator's presence. Okay, well, that's 2. So the Pouncing Aatrox just ate the agitated meadowlarks. Sorry there, birds, but thanks for giving me the warning. Alright, well, now that he is... exhausted, I am going to try to do a fitness test. So I think, since this isn't a ruin, and I've got a few days to get there, but I think my goal is to get to the biological outpost, because we've got a invasion of things coming, and I gotta go tell some people. So I'm coming in with a 3 versus a 2. That is a 0, so I succeed with a presence, with an effort of 3, so I get 3 progress on this. Right, red challenge effect, nothing. Challenge, or my missions don't have anything, and he's exhausted, so nothing there. Right, 2, 4. You know what? We're going to spend 2 presents to get my camel weave cloak down. Try to stop more fatigue from happening. And then, lastly, sure, I'll give it a try. I'm going to try to remember my ranger training. So I'm going to do a focus test, not committing any icons, so I'm a 1-to-1. -2. I fail. Nothing happens if I fail. Red challenge effect, nothing is active, and I need to reshuffle this. Alright, so I am going to rest. I don't have enough progress to leave this area, so I am just going to have to stick around for one more turn. Ready ourselves up, ready all the cards up, get my energy back, draw a card, which is my vaulting rod, and then we draw a path card. And that is, fractal wire. Ugh. Okay, well, that is problematic. All right. So I'm going to exhaust and use 2 sketches, taking me down to 1, to exhaust a path card. That is going to be fractal wire. I am now going to do a traverse test on that, and I'm going to exhaust my seeker car to avoid, to dodge the Aatrox, so I don't take any fatigue there. So I am a 3 versus a 2. You know, I'm going to guarantee that I get out of here. I'm going to use the boundary sensor to be a 4 versus a 2. 0, I succeed, and I get 4 progress added onto this. Right, blue challenge effects, nothing, nothing, nothing. Okay. I have enough. That is exhausted, so I'll be able to leave here this turn. We're going to try to remember my ranger training again, 1-to-1. +1, so I succeed with an effort of 2, so that means I get to scout 2 cards off my ranger deck, versatile and photoscopic headset, and I'm going to put both of these on the bottom, and then I'm going to draw a card, and that is another sketchbook. Alright, well, there's no point in that. I don't need to worry about the predator in play, so I'm just going to end my turn here. I'm going to rest, and then because I have enough presence here and the obstacle is exhausted, I'm going to choose to trap. And I am down here at Watcher's Rock, so my choices are either to go back to Tumbledown, which I'm not going to do, or go to the Archaeological Outpost, which is what I will be doing. So I will get that set up. So I'm going through the Archaeological Outpost through the ravine. I will get that set up and be right back. All right. Here we are at the Archaeological Outpost. Location, trail, and ranger station. Presence value of 1. Progress threshold of 4 per ranger. And has a test, awareness plus knowledge against a threshold of 3 to study the archaeological records. If we do that, we get to read entry 34.1. First things first, though, on... Oh. You know, I always need to remember to look at the back of these first, because I need to make sure that one of the path deck in there is the archaeology sinkhole. So let me just read this real quick. Solaro Mako, the valley's preeminent archaeologist, set up this outpost many years ago with the help of his father. Since then, he has spent precious little time here, instead using it as a storage facility for many of the most interesting artifacts he's recovered during his expeditions. Inside, you find tables covered with neatly cataloged and carefully arranged artifacts, and several notebooks containing the observations of Solaro Mako and his colleagues. Right, and then Path Deck Assembly says one of the 3 cards added from the Valley set must be the Arcology Sinkhole. And let me check here. Odds are that, yep, there's the Arcology Sinkhole in my hand, so I gotta reshuffle this up. So, take out the first Valley, I find. You are going to get replaced. It was on the bottom of the deck, that's convenient. Alright, and then at arrival, it says search the path deck for the next feature and put it into play. I think I made a mistake before sometimes in doing the search. The thing with the search is after you are done finding it, you shuffle those cards back into the deck. So, feature, Arcology Sinkhole. That was right on top. That's convenient. All right. So that is that. It's not a ruin location, so I don't put the Redeemer, Reclaimer Seekers in there. I've rested, so it is ready everything up. We draw a card into a bold. And now we draw another path card. That is a web wall. A web wall comes in along the way, has a presence of 1, harm threshold of 2, progress threshold of 2, and an obstacle. While your ranger token is on this feature, your token cannot be moved and progress cannot be added to this feature. And then a fitness and conflict test against threshold 2 to pull apart the cloying webs to add 1 harm to this feature for every 2 effort. If you fail, move your ranger token to this feature. All right. So we got a web wall and an Arcology Sinkhole. All right. First things first. No. I was going to try to sketch it, but if I draw a red crest, then I'm going to get stuck to it. So I don't want to do that. So we are going to try to do a traverse test. So it's fitness against the presence value of 1. So I'm 2 up right now. Yeah, I just want to get the obstacle out of there. So we're gonna commit bold to it. So we're a 5 versus a 1. -1, I succeed. So I suppose I didn't really need to do that. I could have done the boundary sensor instead. Oh well. That's enough to get rid of it. Blue challenge effect. The sinkhole does have a blue challenge effect in it. The sinkhole widens. Discard 1 progress from a feature. If you cannot, this card fatigues you. Ugh. Alright, so that fatigues me for 2. I don't like that. That's just rude. Alright, Alright, so I can't do any more traverse tests, so I can't make any progress, and I can't clear this out. Actually, you know what? We're going to say, instead of taking that 2 fatigue, I'm going to camel weave cloak to get around it. Yeah, let's be risky. I'm going to try this awareness plus exploration icon. Just doing my 2 awareness energy, no additional icons on it. So 2 versus 2. 0, I succeed, so I get to move my ranger token to it. Right, and now Yellow Sun, downpour triggers. Discard 1 rain from this card. Each ranger suffers 1 fatigue. If there are no rain remaining, flip this card. So down to 3, and I fatigue 1. Get a chance at it. I'm going to try to remember my training again, 1-1. +1, so I succeed. So I get to, with an effort of 2, so I get to look at 2 of these. I'm going to take quiet, and I'm going to put boundary sensor on the bottom. Okay. Red challenge effect. Nothing in play triggers off a red challenge. There is nothing useful I can do using spirit energy, so I am going to end my turn. Don't have progress to travel, so we just ready everything up. Draw a card into a Paratrepsis whistle. And then we get a path card. Fraying Rope Bridge. Along the way, presence of 2 per ranger, harm threshold. Clear it with putting a ranger token on here. And spirit plus knowledge against threshold 2 to brave the unstable bridge as the ropes groan beneath your feet. To move your ranger token to this feature. Okay, well, that's that. We're going to try to clear out the sinkhole. So we're going to do a traverse test, and we'll do a boundary sensor on that. So we are a 4 versus a 2. 0, I succeed with a progress of 4. That is enough to clear this. And then it says clear via progress. If a ranger token is on this feature, delve deeper into the arcology. Read entry 78. Entry 78. It takes all morning to use a foldable carbon-forged saw to cut the tree trunks, that then winch them up with a jury-rigged block and tackle. By the time the sun is high overhead, you've managed to clear a path to the archway. It turns out the archway leads to a maze of passageways. You explore a little way in, but worry about getting lost. The worn print carved into the walls is in a language utterly alien to you and is useless for navigation. Even so, you find a storage locker a few dozen meters down that still has some portable power cells. Their construction is marvelous, even after thousands of years. You can still use them to charge your gear. Perhaps if you could read the writing on the walls, you might be able to find greater treasures further in. You think you remember someone named Solaro in White Sky who was studying the arcology. Maybe he can help. Each ranger can either refill all tokens on a tech card, or search their deck for a tech card and put it into play. Yeah, I'm going to recharge my boundary sensors. All right. Oh, and then we have to do our Yellow Sun challenge effect, which is here, which fatigues me 1. And this is add 1 harm to the feature. Let's see here. Yeah, let's try to clear out the rope bridge. So we're going to do just a 2 versus 2. Ooh. This is kind of sketchy. But there really isn't any harm if I fail. So we're just going to go 2 versus 2. -1, I fail, so I don't get to move my ranger token there. Yep. No blue challenge effects. I don't really need any more cards at the moment. Sure, I will try to sketch the rickety old bridge. 2 versus 2. -1, I fail. And so this does fatigue me again. And then this gets a second damage, which destroys it. And it says, clear via damage, discard all ranger tokens from the location. Each ranger with a token on this feature suffers 1 injury. So I didn't. Although I did get fatigued a couple times taking those tests, but oh well. Alright, I'm not going to draw any more cards. I'm okay with what I've got in my hand, so I'm just going to rest. Can't travel yet, so we just ready everything up. Draw a ranger card, which is Eagle Eye. And then we draw a path card, which is Triptifolium. Comes in within reach. Presence of 0. Harm of 2. Progress of 3. Awareness plus knowledge to pluck the fragile leaves and chew them. Careful not to swallow. Add 1 harm to this feature. Soothe 1 fatigue and draw 1 ranger card. And then there is a blue challenge effect if there is prey. Right, let us, we are going to try to traverse the location. We've got 3 + 1 from the boundary sensor. So we are going to be a 4 versus a 1. We succeed with 0, so we get a total effort of 4. So we're there. Red crest challenge effect, there is currently nothing out that triggers off of that. You know what? We're going to try this awareness plus knowledge. I'm not going to commit any other icon, so it's a 2 versus a 1. 0, so I succeed. So, add 1 harm to this. Soothe 1 fatigue, which is another pair of Hydra Lens goggles, and draw a card, which is Riri. Okay. All right, Blue Mountain effect, nothing up here, and this is if there's active prey, which there is not. All right, that is about all I've got. I don't need to draw any more cards. I currently have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cards in my hand, so I'm good there. Nothing to connect with, so we're just going to rest, and we are going to travel. So when we travel, get rid of all the cards. We are currently at the archaeological outpost, so I have a choice of either going up to the concordant ziggurats through the grasslands or the rings of the moon via the ravine. Both, I'm trying to get to the meadow for both locations, so I can go either way. I'm gonna go through the rings of the moon. Grassland, well, no. You know what? We're gonna go up to the concordant ziggurats. I don't know if I've been there yet, so we're gonna travel up to the ziggurats through. Oh, actually, no. I'm gonna do a. I'm gonna cheat. I'm going to do a little bit of metagaming here. I'm going to check to see, because I've been there before. I'm going to see if the Rings of the Moon is considered a ruin location. Because I wouldn't mind getting some progress on the invasion. Okay, Rings of the Moon is a ruin location. So why don't I go there? I don't know. I don't think I've been to the Concordant Ziggurats, so I'm not going to go there. We'll go through Rings of the Moon through the ravine. So I'll be right back. All right, here we are at the Rings of the Moon. Rising up from a series of small hillocks along the edges of the meadow's vast prairie, the large towers each support a massive loop of dull gray metal and ceramics. Some have broken into half or quarter circles, but a few are still intact. The locals in Meadow say that if you go to the edges of the valley with a scope and look back through all the loops at once, you'll see another world in a reality just sideways from your own. Almost every artificer who has inspected the rings, however, believes they are part of a vast and non-functional sensor network. So Rings of the Moon is a location and a ruin. 1 presence, 4 progress per ranger, and it has a test, awareness plus exploration 3, to peer through the ancient guideposts, to search the valley set for a feature, and shuffle it into the path deck. Right, and the arrival, I read the flavor, and so the lead ranger draws 1 path card. That is some Nyctabats. Comes in within reach. Presence of 2, has 2 bats on it, and has X harm threshold and a 5 presence value, and X is equal to the number of bats on the swarm. And the blue challenge effect says, if there is an active web wall, the bats become entangled in it. Add 1 harm to this swarm. Alright. I did realize that looking at the Invasion Stage 1 mission, I was thinking it was like the other one where I had to defeat them and get more information on the biomelds. Nope. There's no way to actually complete this mission. Anytime you go into a ruin area, you just run the risk of running into this big, beefy enemies that you got to deal with. So, yeah, so actually it looks like I should be avoiding ruins from now on. Alright, well, I learned something. But that was the travel steps, so now... Oh, let me put 2 on here. Now we're just going to ready everything up, give ourselves our energy back, draw a card, which is a bold, and then we draw another card. It is a skittish Opalion. 1 presence, 2 harm, 7 connect, threshold, and various challenge effects, so that's not wonderful. Alright, so I think, let's do a couple things here. We're going to 1-2, 2 awareness energy to get Riri the Sparrowhawk in. I am going to use that to do a damage to the Nyctabats. So it has 1 out of 2. Let's see here. How am I looking deck-wise? I'm not looking too bad. So I am going to take a turn. I'm going to spend 2 energy to also get Quiet out. 2 awareness energy there. And we're going to try to connect. We're going to do 2 spirit. I'm going to put 1 of my Hydra Lens goggles into play. So 3 versus 1. -1, I succeed with effort of 2. We get to put 2 effort there. Now, yellow sun says we remove a progress, which flips that over, and it fatigues us 1, and then we flip it over. And during refresh, we add 2 to the rain. 2 to this, and then when there are 4 more, we flip it back over. All right, so that is that. Here, if there is a web wall in play, or if there is no web wall in play, exhaust this being to search the path, deck, and discard pile for a web wall and put it into play. Okay, so we're going to exhaust that. All right, so we've got our web wall here, which is an obstacle. All right, and nothing there. So I think, let's try to get rid of that web wall, shall we? We're going to traverse it using 1 fitness energy and 1 boundary energy. We're going to exhaust my Seeker card to dodge the bats, and we're going up against this. So 2 versus 1. -1. I succeed, but only with 1. And now we get Blue Mountain. Nothing weather-wise, nothing mission-wise, nothing here. This is exhausted. If there's an active web wall, the bats become entangled. Add 1 harm to this swarm. So that is 2 damage on it, which is enough to take out the bats. All right. Yeah, nothing else I can really do at this point. Don't have energy to do much of anything else. So we're going to rest. Don't have enough progress to get on there. So ready everything up. Get our energy back. Draw a card. Eagle Eye. And now we draw a path card. Reclaimer Seeker. So it comes in and it ambushes us right away for 2. All right. Need to remember I've got a camel weave cloak here. I'm not going to retcon it, but for future fatigue, definitely something to keep in mind. All right, so we are going to ping the Reclaimer Seeker by 1 from Riri, and then I'm going to exhaust to add 3 harm to the Seeker from Quiet, and then I will take harm equal to that presence back, so 2. So that is enough to defeat the Reclaimer Seeker. All right. So I'm looking, so I want to try to get rid of this. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to sketch the Skittish Opaline. So 2 versus 1. 0, so I succeed, so I can add sketches equal to that presence. Red challenge effect. Oh, no. Move your ranger token to this feature and move this feature within reach. All right, well, I no longer can add progress to it, so I guess I should have tried to clear that out first. All right, so I have to do a fitness plus conflict. All right, so Yeah, let's go all in. 3 fitness. I'm going to pitch Eagle Eye and my Paratrepsis Whistle. So I am a 5 versus a 2. 0, I succeed. So I do 1 harm for every 2 effort. I have an effort of 5. So I get to do 2 harm to it, which does get rid of it. All right. Now blue challenge effect. Nothing, nothing, nothing. If there's no hazard in play, shuffle this being into the path deck. There's no hazard in play right now, so excellent. And I think I forgot to put the rain clouds. I think I did, so last time I did an upkeep, I think. So we'll say that it has 2 clouds on it. Unfortunately, since I have no fitness energy left, I can't try to traverse, so we're going to just end our turn. We're going to rest. Get our energy back, draw a card, which is a vaulting rod. And now we're back to a downpour, and we're drawing an obstacle card, which is another web wall. All right. My turn. We are going to exhaust the sketchbook and use a sketch to exhaust the web wall. Since it is exhaust, and use X sketches to exhaust a path card with presence of X. So that's path card, presence of 1. All right, we are now going to try to traverse this location. We are going to go 1, 2, 3, and bold. And we are going to use boundary sensor. So I want to get out of here before more reclaimer seekers show up. So I am a 6 versus a 1. +1, so I am a 7. And blue challenge effect, nothing is active. I don't have gear slots to put down my Hydroland goggles. Don't have fitness to put down the vault, so yeah, I'm nothing else for me to do. There's no point in trying to survey or scout the path deck because I'm just going to be leaving here. So we are resting and we are choosing to travel. Since we have enough progress on it, we are at the Rings of the Moon. We are going to travel up the ravine to Meadow. All right, so I'm going to get that set up and be right back. All right, we have arrived in the meadow. The grasses in this part of the valley rise so tall that you don't realize you've reached the meadow until the path suddenly opens, revealing several humble cottages centered around the stump of a fallen dolewood. A herd of iron wool sheep tend to the grass. A shepherd stands nearby, casually watching the sheep. He waves. "If you're here for the festival, you're early," he says. "Pretty soon this place will be full of people from all over the valley, and sometimes beyond. There's food, drink, and music and dancing. If there's one thing we know how to do at Meadow, it's how to throw a party." The iron wool sheep pauses to give you a look, then quietly goes back to its grazing. So Meadow is a location, a pivotal location, and a trail. It is not a ruin, so I don't have to shuffle those Reclaimer Seekers in. It has a presence value of 1, progress threshold of 4 per ranger, awareness plus connect to search the pastoral community to scout the path cards equal to your effort, then draw 1 path card. Right, and arrival setup. Lead Rangers search the path deck for the Whispering Fields and put it into play. Well, the Whispering Fields is not in the path deck because I did not come, because I came from the Rings of the Moon, and that, the Whispering Fields, is part of the Grassland set. So I guess that just whiffs. All right. So now we refresh everything. Refresh our energy, draw a card, which is Healing Touch. And now we draw a path card. It is Yaris, Willful Youth. So he comes in along the way, or within reach. He is a being, human villager, presence of value of 1, harm of 3, progress of 3, fatiguing and friendly. And then focus plus connect to against the threshold of 2 to speak with Yaris about your time in the Rangers, to soothe 1 fatigue for every 2 effort. Then add an equal amount of progress to Yaris. So he comes in, we have to read 70. Let's see. So when he enters play, if you faced your deepest fear, let me check my campaign log. I don't think I have. Nope, I have not. The young man in front of you is working hard to ignore your presence, studiously focusing on a thick stalk of tall grass in front of him. Suddenly, his hand flicks out, and a loose streamer of cloth stretches forward, quickly stiffening into a narrow, meter-long blade. Another flick, and the cloth flutters loosely to his side, and the stalk of grass collapses into 2 pieces. You try and ask him his name and what he's been doing, but he just grunts, Yaris, and then turns away. You're going to have to do something impressive if you want to get his attention. And it says, clear Yaris with progress to impress him enough to get his attention. Okay. So, because he is fatiguing, if he is not exhausted when I choose to rest, he will fatigue me 1. So we're going to want to do something about that. All right. So yeah, let's do this. Let's try to speak with him. So we're doing focus and connect. We are going to well, or actually, so that would allow me to soothe some fatigue. So I have an option, because the other thing is I do have a walk with me, which is after I succeed at a traverse test, I can spend this to just put progress on him. So I could possibly clear him out with that. But that would allow me to soothe some fatigue, which I do have a decent amount of. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 fatigue, so. But I got enough cards, I don't think that's really going to matter. Really, the only thing I'm missing at this point is Oru, and we're not going to worry about it. So we are going to do a traverse test on the location. We're going to go all in. 1, 2, 3. And sure, let's do the last charge of a boundary sensor as well. Because Yaris is a friendly character, he does not fatigue me when I do anything past him. So, all right, so I am a 4 versus a 1. +1, I succeed with 5, and then I'm going to spend a spirit to do a walk with me. So after you succeed at a traverse test, add progress to a being equal to your effort. This is in addition to the test standards effect. So then I also get 5 progress. Oh, 5 progress on him. Right. So I think that's in the response window. So I think I get to read this first before I look at any challenge effects. All right. So I clear him with progress. You convince Yaris to let you try his grass cutting game, taking up the whisper-thin gauze blade and, after a deep breath, flicking it up and towards a stalk of grass. A quick hiss, and the stalk, along with the stalk directly behind it, collapse, the grass on either side untouched. Huh, Yaris says. You see a flicker of grudging respect. I guess you know what you're doing after all. He thinks for a moment, then grins slyly. You think you have what it takes to do something really tough? I hear that if someone goes and spends the night on Greenbrier Knoll, they have the worst nightmares of their life. I knew this one guy. He couldn't stop crying. A spirit speaker needed to do a lot of work to help him get better. He raises an eyebrow. What about it? I'm game if you are. Let me see. Where is Greenbrier Knoll in comparison to us? All right. So I'm assuming if we do this, we have to get to Greenbrier Knoll. So we're at Meadow right now. Greenbrier Knoll is just north of us. I'm trying to get to the biological outpost. So if I go this way, it's 1, 2, and then 3. And if I go up to Greenbrier Knoll, it's going to add 1. So I can go 1, 2, 3, 4. So, sure. You know what? I haven't done a lot of mission with people so far in this campaign. So we are going to take a look at him. So we are going to remove this and add helping hand to him. And I have to get it done this day, so I gotta move quick. So I guess the question is gonna be... how do we get to... So I guess what we want to do is just... go to travel to Greenbrier Knoll, I guess. It doesn't really give me any other instructions, so I guess we'll do that. So nothing else that I really want to do here. You know what? Let's try, the red challenge effect, or red crest. If there's an active predator, there's not. So, all right. So we are going to do 2 awareness. We're going to try to sketch Yaris. I succeed, so I get to add a sketch. And Yellow Sun, it does fatigue me for 1 for doing that. Ugh. Maybe that wasn't a great use of my time. And then if there's an exhaustive predator, there is not. So, all right. So I think we're going to rest. I got 4 cards left in my deck. So we are going to rest, and we are going to choose to travel. And we are going to choose to travel to Greenbrier Knoll to go try to show off for our willful youth Yaris here. So let me get that set up. All right, here we are at Greenbrier Knoll. So Greenbrier Knoll is a location, a trail, a ruin. So I did shuffle the 3 Reclaimer Seekers into the path deck. Has a presence of 1, progress of 3 per ranger, and a red challenge effect to scout 1 challenge card. If it has the red crest icon, troubling visions fill your mind and you suffer 2 fatigue. Alright, let's take a look at the arrival. So, 24. So looking at 24, it says, if Yaris Willful Youth is in play, go to 24.1. Okay. As you ascend the slope, Yaris sprints ahead of you to the top. You circle around the dais of overgrown stone at the summit of the knoll, and you set down your packs and make camp. In the failing light of evening, you drift off to sleep. You wake with a start. You sit up. All is dark and still. You realize you're alone. The bedrolls are empty. A chill runs up your spine as you look frantically around the dais. Then, as you stand at the center of the knoll, you hear a rustling of the grass just behind you. Set aside your other game components. Shuffle the challenge discard into the challenge deck. Okay. This here shuffled in. Then it says, starting with the lead ranger and going clockwise. Well, that's going to be easy. Each ranger may draw a challenge card and place it face up in front of them, or choose to pass. Once a ranger passes, they are out, and they cannot draw any more challenge card. If a ranger draws a challenge card with a reshuffle icon, they may choose to place it in front of a different ranger who has not passed. When any ranger has a matching pair of challenge icons in front of them, do the following based on what icon they're a pair of. Okay, well, I'm not going to jump ahead and look at what each one is. So we're flipping over until we get a pair. So it's like anything else, probably we're looking for mountains, because mountains are usually the ones that are either the least penalizing or actually might give you a benefit. Yellow sun is mediocre, and I assume the red crest is something we definitely don't want. So let's take a look here. All right, so there's my path deck. We get blue mountain off the start. Okay, that's 1. Yellow sun. Red crest. So I got 1 of each. So I guess whatever this last card is what I get. What do we get? Yellow sun. Okay. Let's see here. 2 or more yellow suns. You have conquered your fears. Gain the Face Your Fears reward card. Okay. That's fun. Okay, Face Your Fear. There we go. Let's take a look here. So Face Your Fears. It is a focus moment. Requires 1 focus. Thankfully, I only have 1 focus. Has a connect, a knowledge, and a conflict icon, and it costs X focus. And it says, when a ranger performs a test, commit X effort. So you get to basically pump as much focus in here as you want. Okay, so I bet in multiplayer this would probably be awesome, because then when they're doing a focus test, well, I guess it's just any test. It doesn't have to be focus. So you're basically giving them a plus X to the test, just based on the amount of focus that you spend on this card. So that's cool. I don't know how much use it's going to be for me in solo, just because, I guess that gives me, could give me a +1, but that doesn't seem great. So I don't know. Let's see here. What does it say? Once all rangers have passed or been overwhelmed by fear, continued. You sit up to find the knoll still bathed in the dull red glow of late evening. Yaris sits up as well, gasping suddenly, then visibly relaxes when he sees you. For a long moment, you stare silently at each other. Yaris shudders. Let's get out of here, he says. You clasp Yaris on the shoulder and congratulate him on being tough enough to sleep on Greenbrier Knoll. Yaris places his hand on your shoulder, clearly affected. It wasn't at all like people said. It was like the knoll was trying to get me to 23 understand something. The 23 understand something? That's got to be a typo. The knoll was trying to get me to understand something. I'm not sure what. Yaris gives you a rare smile, then starts back down the trail back to the meadow. Discard Yaris, return helping hand to the collection. Write face to your deepest fears in the campaign tracker, then shuffle the challenge discard into the challenge deck. All right. So these guys go away. Discard into this. All right. So that was reading. This was all just based on the campaign entry for arriving here. So I still have to do the actual arrival step, which says the lead ranger draws a challenge card and do the following. Yellow Sun. Scout 2 path cards, then draw 1 path card. All right. So we have a Hungry Scroff and a Harvester Anthill. Well, the Harvester Anthill is an obstacle, so I don't want to deal with that. I'm going to put the Anthill on the bottom, and I'll put the Scroff on top. And then I will draw 1, which is the Hungry Scroff. Figuring I can dodge around that guy. All right, now we do the refresh step. So energy comes up. Draw a card, which is my headset. And now we draw a path card. Reclaimer Seeker. Ambush. Fatigues us 2. So 1, 2. Oof. Actually, no. We're going to exhaust the Camel Weave Cloak and put those 2 cards back on. I think my goal here is just to get progress on this, and then looking at the map, I'm up here at Greenbrier Knoll. I think just take the ravine down to Stoneweaver Bridge, and I might as well just camp if I can get out of here before I fatigue out. I don't think I'll add that card to my deck, but it'll be nice to have a choice on that. All right. So we're going to exhaust this and use 2 sketches to exhaust the Reclaimer Seeker. We are going to do a traverse test, exhausting my roll card to dodge the Scroff. So I am a 3. I will do a vaulting rod and a photoscopic headset to be a 5 effort. So 5 versus 1. Plus 1, I succeed with an effort of 6. And now we take a look at challenge effects. This fatigues me 1. Yellow Sun, he is exhausted, so nothing there. Yeah, I think we're just gonna call it. So we are going to rest, and we are going to choose to travel, and we are going to camp. So we are going to we're going to choose to travel from Greenbrier Knoll down the ravine over to Stoneweaver Bridge. And we will camp to end our day. So that is day 10. Let's see here. I gotta write that I faced my fears. Is it faced my fears or is it faced my deepest fears? My deepest fears. There's a distinction there. And then we got the Face Your Fears reward card. Your fears. Alright, and I never did actually say Journey. I think Journey I got in the last one too. So Journey, and that is the biological outpost. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to write these down, but I'm going to anyway. Alright, so that is it for day 10. So as always, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I didn't make too many play mistakes. If I did, I'm going to just blame cold medication. Otherwise, if you liked it, hit the like button. You see anything I missed or anything, go ahead and leave a comment and let me know what I screwed up. Otherwise, I will be back again for day 11 before too long. Hope you enjoyed this playthrough, and as always, I appreciate you taking your time to watch some of my gameplays. Hope you all have a great day.